And we are live with Game 3 of the Grand Finals. Both teams have had a hard-fought road to get to this point, and Risky Behavior looked like they had the momentum they needed to push on through for the win in Game 2, but Burly Men stopped it dead in its tracks and put the hype train down as fast as it started. And I have to say, well played by the Burly Men, and now we're looking to see what they can do here. I am Soza. Unfortunately, Shadow Boy has had to step away for a few moments, but he should return within the next minute or so. He just had to step out for a few seconds, but he should be back. Either way, Burly Men and Risky Behavior already going through the picks and bans. We're quite a ways through this one, but we'll catch you up as soon as we can. Odin and Isis banned away by Risky Behavior. Meanwhile, Hell and Freya taken away by the Burly Men. Sarkett also banned out as well, so those will be the 3 bans from the Burly Men. Meanwhile, Geb was the first lock-in from XenoTronics from Risky Behavior. Not going to let that one come through a second time on Junipera. But at the same time, Burly Men will get Xbalanque on XLoux again, and Janus going over to Repap this time as well, who both had solid performance on their carry gods. Meanwhile, shooting back over to Risky Behavior, they're going to rock out with Bellona and Aphrodite. Aphrodite was one of the big game changers for the Burly Men last time around, getting the healing off, getting those incredible Undying Loves off that just saved Xbalanque so many times. It let XLoux do absolutely whatever he wanted in these fights, and I'm no surprise to see him try to get rid of this one by just picking it away, but at the same time, Burly Men are going to look to respond by actually picking away an Kuang for the solo lane and a Bacchus for Junipera here as their final 2 pickups. Meanwhile, Risky Behavior looks like a Naja and Ram for FaymousHate and Skeeledon respectively here. Should be some pretty solid picks here, but we should wait to see these actually show up on the screen as well. But here's the team comps coming down. I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Risky Behavior trying to take away a few of these gods here, and Aphrodite is a quite solid pickup here. Burly Men have responded quite well by actually locking away some healing reduction gods with the form of a Sobek and a Bacchus. Bacchus, of course, provides the belt of the gods. On the final tick of his belt, that will provide that healing reduction. Whereas Sobek, Sickening Strike, of course, reduces healing done by his target's hit. So if played as a solo laner, which is being played by Pucmm, he's able to get in the face of Risky Behavior solo laner, which is actually going to be played by XenoTronics here. Aphrodite going to be the mid laner of Risky Behavior here. So Bellona definitely going to be the solo laner here. But still, same time, nice shutout going out of the laning phase. Either way, we're going to do a quick beer at back screen as we get a few things sorted out behind the scenes. Don't go anywhere. This is Game 3 of the Grand Finals for Smite Games Challenger Cup, brought to you by Tier Monster and hi-rez Studios. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are live with the 3rd and final game of the Grand Finals, the one to decide it all here. Risky Behavior came out strong in Game 1, but Burly Men, well, it looked like they were taking a massive beating in Game 2, but they turned it right back around and twisted things against Risky Behavior. I don't know, what do you think is going to do to the momentum here for Risky Behavior, Shadow Boys? It seems like they definitely want some revenge here.
Well, I think that if you're a certain few players like Skeeledon, you're feeling pretty good. But if you're FaymousHate, then you've got to be feeling a little bit of pressure now. I think it's kind of an unspoken idea by most of the team that FaymousHate wasn't necessarily carrying his weight for the team last game. So that's a bit discouraging, but at the same time, you don't want to sit here and get too wrapped up in that idea, because you have to have a next game mentality of, alright, well, we got to move on to the next game. Let's go ahead and try and pull this one out. And with the team comps being what they are, I'm very more inclined to feel like I would want to be on Burly Men's team if I was in a solo queue game. That is a lot of late game just nightmare. So Janus portals into solo Sobek with a lot of CC and damage, and then of course you've got our Kuang, who just does our Kuang things. There's no part of this that I would feel good about on the other side.
It's going to be incredibly tough for Risky Behavior to find the opportunities they want. The healing reduction is going to make it really difficult for XenoTronics, and he's playing a rough matchup of Aphrodite into a Janus here. XenoTronics is going to have to play incredibly safe under his tower here and rely on Skeeledon this game, which Skeeledon has proven to be reliable enough, so that's not too bad of a thing there, but at the end of the day, he's going to have to struggle a bit through this laning phase versus Repap here. Otherwise, across the board, laning matchups seem to be fairly even early on, at least, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, in the laning phase, I don't see anything that just blatantly sticks out to me as, alright, well, you're screwed. It's just more of a, okay, well, this is what's going to become an eventual issue. Now, Aphrodite in the middle lane didn't get a chance to talk about it. A little interesting to me to think that they want to go with this kind of route instead of, something a bit more bursty. So they're really wanting to try and just ramp up the carries that they feel strongest lead their team. In my opinion, I think Skeeledon is the one they really want to try and ramp up here. Of course, the kiss doesn't disconnect when Najah goes into the air, so a lot of times you can really set Najah up nicely to come back down safely with a back off, or you can even try and kill secure in the air with the back off. So you can do a lot of things to help make Najah's life easier, as well as keep her sustained up in the early game when she's jungle farming.
And the interaction between Aphrodite's Link and, well, Najah in general, it leads to a lot of just cheeky, fun things that you can do with this duo. So I'm really interested to see how this duo actually plays out later in the game, since mid lane has essentially become a secondary duo lane with the jungler and mid laner acting as a support and duo kind of combination here in the mid lane. Just a little bit more of the support leaving sometimes, and you leaving with them here, but now first rotation's coming through here towards these back camp. It looks like Burly Men might attempt a rotation over to the duo lane, but instead they're just going to fake out and go back to lane to clear it out.
So over in the solo lane, just a kind of solo island mentality. However, Sobek's still not level 5 yet. He's actually just tanking creeps just to allow his minions time to get there. And now he should be hitting level 5 here soon. Pluck! In the tower goes Bellona, who's going to immediately use her dash to get out of the trouble there. Sobek ultimate uses, she times this correctly, she can land right back down on him, uses the Eagle's Rally, doesn't want to try and risk it, notices that there's something a little off here, and just elects to leave the scenario instead of going back onto the Sobek. So good read by Pomponius.
Yeah, BootyCall still waiting though, but like I said, Pomponius made the good read there. He had an idea what was coming in, likely had those audio cues prepped so he knew what was coming whenever he heard the blink sound of the Kuang. Got out of dodge as soon as he could, so at the end of the day, nothing actually lost for him right there. Risky Behavior actually have a very, very small, and I mean absolutely minute, gold lead due to a little bit of better farming here. But overall, nothing crazy just yet. It's actually Burly Men might find first blood here. Pomponius a little bit in danger under tower here. BootyCallJones does have the ultimate. They want to risk this dive here, but Pucmm, he's got very little help to spare here. They might still go for it if Pomponius steps out here. The blue buff is open and available if they want to try to steal this away. BootyCallJones waiting quite a bit under tower. He goes to the dive, but also to try to find a bit of poke under tower.
Yeah, they're probably just going to settle, get the blue buff here. Not a bad trade-off at all. Over in the dual lane, it's looking like Najah wants to try and make the same kind of effect as the Kuang did, but the only difference is that it might be contested a little bit, but no, I doubt it. After the mid lane rotation from
especially with the
Aphrodite,
time, it would be a risky contest here, but Repap trying to contest in time. Actually, we're going to go for a fight now. The Dark Events have come through. Wubbn lands a 3-man Cataclysm as Repap will show up just in time. Up to the air goes Skeeledon with Repap in tow. We will see FaymousHate going skyboard. Raining sniper shots will land most of them onto Repap there, but the Dragon is good as BootyCallJones finding Wubbn for first blood, looking to crash back down, but Skeeledon already dead and gone. Now he will find XenoTronics. The back off is good, but is it enough to blink on forward? Xeno needs to try to run away here. He does have the safety here, as BootyCallJones doesn't quite have the Dragon's Call just yet to dial up. But either way, a big series of pickups there for Burly Men, and now the ball is in Risky Behavior's court.
So jungle camps are going to be stolen away, both attack speed and red buff from the guys over on Risky Behavior, and the only thing left remaining is one sad little baby heart or baby creep over in the red buff camp. But I think that giving that first blood to Kuang and giving a kill over to Janus, you've really set yourself up for a long, slow burning game if you think that you have the potential to win it.
If you have the potential to win it, but at the same time, you've got to have the potential there, and now Burly Men still looking to press the advantage as best they can. And the solo lane, not much of a fight. In all honesty, you're trying to find an engagement here, but Pucmm, he's got so many ways out. Same thing for Pomponius, that I don't quite think either side will be able to find enough of an advantage to get the kill on the other. The real fight's over here near the mid-harpies here. Repap will try to land a close-range shotgun with his through space and time, but it's not going to nearly be enough. Skeeledon will simply step to the side and dodge it as it comes out there, but still secures one mid-camp, so hashtag worth, I'd say.
Vulcan in the area, he does want to look for some kind of kill opportunity, but instead he's going to make his way back over the soul lane, which is looking like the most exciting area here. He is invisible, does go for it, finds the ultimate. That's going to be a quick, easy kill. BootyCallJones just really showing why Kuang is typically banned out in ranked play as well as competitive play.
I may not advocate camping solo lane sometimes, but especially with FaymousHate finding a kill over there when Lou, if you can rotate easily, especially with a god like Kuang after you get your kill, it's going to be a free meal zone sometimes, especially if Pucmm he's doing such a good job of harassing his enemy, forcing them constantly into tower. If they can execute dives on the side of Burly Men, Risky Behavior, they gotta have some plan here, and they've gotta start making some kind of play while Kuang, especially BootyCallJones, is off to the side lane. But since he can rotate so fast with that dragon and execute, it may not be enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really problematic, actually. I think Kuang, wow, I got it backwards for the first time. Kuang is a very difficult god to know how to play against because he scales so well off of attack speed, but he also has that threshold kill that just gives him so much advantage in any kind of boxing match. And it's also a great escape mechanic in some of these really high, intense team fights. So it's really awkward to try and deal with it. But Gold Fury not been looked at just yet. Everybody is a bit too nervous to do that. Still, this game could go either way, depending on how one team tries to over-aggress or doesn't do anything at all.
Yeah, and that's they need to start trying to make something happen. Here's Risky Behavior. Getting too passive last time. Getting too passive could spell the death of them here. Excuse me. But Burly Men, they've still got to find some way in this one. They could go for those early Gold Furies, which they do enjoy. They're in a good position to actually control the vision this game. BootyCallJones has been all over the map. The word control around Gold Fury is pretty solid right now. They've got some nice ones inside of Risky Behavior to spot them if they approach from a certain side, but BootyCallJones, he's not going to approach at all. He's just going to blink on in and try to put the fear into XenoTronics once again, showing some presence here as Skeeledon, now a decent level behind Repap and BootyCallJones. They force Xeno back. Now they're going to start up this Gold Fury. They have been spotted though, so this could get risky fast. FaymousHate right around the corner. He does have his ultimate available in case he wants to try to steal it. He's going to walk up trying to put some pressure here, but he's got to go up if he wants to steal. He aims the shot. He doesn't find it though as Burly Men get the Gold Fury, but at what cost is the question. Wubbn's going to blink on in and find a great shockwave for a kill. Wubbn will fall into a portal. The unstable vortex is good as it connects from Repap right there. Now Lou needs to put on his blue suede shoes, but FaymousHate, he's got the aim of a sniper right there, but up in the air goes BootyCallJones. Skeeledon trying to get his revenge right there. Blinks aside is BootyCall, but he's safe and sound outside here. FaymousHate, he almost lands that final shot over the wall, but at the same time, Burly Men walk away with the advantage here, getting Gold Fury.
Meanwhile, over in Solo Island, Sobek and Bellona are just having a nice friendly chat about how they greatly enjoy boxing each other a lot. But in all seriousness though, Sobek did have to use an ultimate and actually was able to force out Eagle's rally on top of that. So neither of these solo laners really feeling that comfortable in trying to rotate over to those big exchanges like we just saw where Burly Men was able to get the Gold Fury. However, they were punished for it slightly with 2 kills, which isn't that bad considering they got one of their own.
Yeah, not too bad at all, but at the same time, they did lose that. RiskyBehavior did lose that Gold Fury there, so gonna be hurting them a bit. Even though they managed to get back a kill in the end, wasn't nearly enough to make up for losing a Gold Fury and losing a kill of their own. Now, Risky Behavior, ball is definitely in their court. They're about 2,000, so not a massive deficit, but it has been steadily growing in favor of the Burly Men. So they need to think of some way to staunch this bleeding and start crawling back into this one.
It can stop the bleeding here in a couple of instances. So, for example, using that Ninja in the dual lane would be really ideal, just because Rama's been doing a fantastic job. Actually has 2 kills of his own, so completely different than what we saw last time out of FaymousHate. But FaymousHate, this is actually one of his favorite picks, if I remember correctly. Rama's always been a character he's excelled at. So, if they can share some of if they can share some of the love in the dual lane over to the jungle, that can escalate over to other lanes.
I mean, especially since FaymousHate is sitting at 2-0 right now. If he gets just a little bit more farm, a little bit more gold in general from, well, anything that Risky Behavior wants to send his way, he's going to be getting absolutely massive here. But both sides trying to pincer each other, it seems. A great catch there onto Lou, as now mid-air with Aphrodite and a Skeeledon. That's going to be FaymousHate securing the kill upon landing through space and time. Connects onto almost everybody like a freight train, it seems. Unstable Vortex causing lots of damage to BootyCallJones, trying to force his way in, but he gets a bit too, well, aggro there, but it doesn't matter. He's got the dragon, and dragon trumps paper, it seems, as he looks to land here. FaymousHate getting caught out here. One more dragon will secure the fight. He goes for it. He detonates on the XenoTronics as well, so he's got to play this one safe. But BootyCallJones doing absolutely intense levels of work for his team, looking for the triple. He's going to find it, actually, because now he could go for the quadra. Pomponius slowed out. Darkest of Nights coming on through. BootyCallJones in the middle of this one, looking for that final shot, but will he find his question? He blinks on over. He has the Dragon's Call doing work. One more, but no, Junipera secures the kill, as all supports deserve right there. Pomponius going to fall in a 4 for one trade in favor of the Burly Men.
So you usually don't like to say the phrase, "Hey, Kukulkan is 5-0," because usually that phrase is followed up with, "Hey, GG F6."
Yeah, exactly what you said, but yeah, that's around the point when you realize that you're hallucinating a little bit too much and that Kukulkan is actually not
Alqual.
I mean, at least that's a fair mistake to make, since Kukulkan kind of used to be Alquang, but, well, now Alquang just turns into a dragon, it seems.
I keep seeing dragons and thinking it's backwards, but as my production kindly reminded me, no, it's not Kukulkan, it's Alquang. But yes, Alquang, usually you see him 5-0. That results in a very poor game for the rest of the remainder of your match. It's not really a character that you can actually lock down or do well against. And then you consider the other factors that are on the side of Burly Men, like the Xbalanque, who wreaked havoc a couple of games ago, actually last game too, like Repap.
At the same time, meanwhile, in the mid lane, they're trying to find a fight here, and especially the trend is going against RiskyBehavior here, as the fight going great for Repap here. When we see an Kuang get ahead, I think at this point, an Kuang that gets at least more than 1 or 2 kills early on in the game absolutely scales up massively. Wrong target caught by the vacuum of BootyCallJones right there. He still wants to actually try to find a dive here. This could be an awful idea, as the tower almost finishes him off, but BootyCallJones escaping just in time, actually.
Really odd to see him keep going back in for tower aggro. I'm not sure if he thought that maybe someone else was tanking the tower for him, but he ended up taking an extra shot that could have killed him if he had taken any more abilities from the watching Aphrodite.
You need to keep an eye on that god as well. You gotta get in deep there. He tried to maybe find a kill there, but unfortunately vacuumed up, well, a nice and fat tank instead, which, not quite what he wanted, and almost ended up costing him his life in the end, but luckily managed to just dive out of that one just barely in time with a nice bit of quick tower aggro trading. So, all in all, nothing lost for the Burly Men there, but could have gone so much worse than it did right there.
Over in the solo lane, Pucmm is just going to receive the blue buff from his good guy Kukulkan, which is actually Alquang. And now he's just going to walk over to the speed buff.
Exactly where he wants to go now. Should be able to get some speed up there. As long as he gets those extra rotations out inside of Skeeledon, he's going to be able to start making much more impact for his team. I mean, despite being 0-3-3, his ultimates have been able to guarantee his team kills on important targets, such as XLoux or Repap in a lot of these fights. Unfortunately, as we see a fight breaking out right now, XenoTronics in so much danger as Wubbn falls through. That's going to be a true love Bellona right there. And now this could be bad, but FaymousHate doing absolute work here as Junipera takes down XenoTronics, but FaymousHate finds the duel off in the duel lane right there. Repap running on fumes, but fumes are more than enough, and a Skeeledon catches onto him here.
So it's kind of funny how the story flips. We saw that it was Skeeledon who was doing fantastic last game, and FaymousHate, it was kind of but now it's backwards. But over the mid-harb, we're going to see another fight come out as Kuang is looking to try and send somebody up into the air, and it looks like he wants to try and take Pomponius up with him with the ultimate. Raining the damage, is he going to be able to get enough, though, is the question. There it is, Rama is looking for it, and there it is, Dragon Form used. Geb Shield not going to be enough to save Pomponius from dying there, and that's going to be the escape tool used from BootyCallJones, and basically...
Yeah, unfortunately, the Geb Shield was a bit late, Shadow. Well, a bit early, actually, so it didn't prevent the CC that Kuang puts out, and I believe you can actually cleanse it off with a well-timed Geb Shield. Yeah, you can, but it just was way too early there, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, the actual shield health doesn't stop the threshold.
Yeah,
and of course, he did try to use the cleanse factor, but it wasn't exactly timed well, and that's a really hard one to actually time. I mean, to be fair, you have to hit that
really small one.
Yeah, literally at the right frame. So no blame towards the Geb not being able to save his good guy Pomponius, but credit to the members of Burly Men. They've stayed very religiously to trying to excel this Kuang throughout the game, and now they're starting to see the benefits of it. They are having a lot of muscle room in some of these fights and engagements, and you can see that right now in the duel lane as Rama, who has been dominating the Xbalanque in 1v1 situations for quite some time, is getting bullied out a bit, and by bullied out I mean he's getting taken down as 3 members show up to the party a little late. No Cataclysm is going to land, however, you're going to see a Bacchus Intoxicate just come right out and start to stun out a couple of people with some combined damage with Xbalanque and Janus. So they're really just putting on a show here from Burly Men. They got bullied out really hard the first game. Second game looked like it was going to be a little bit of the same scenario, and they turned that one around, and now... Oh, that was a little bit down the middle.
Yeah, now they're going to hit a few field goals on their way to this, well, possibly a win here. But they're getting aggressive under the tower. It's going to be a great Undying Love pumped by Aphrodite, sending up the solo laner for Risky Behavior as well. But Pucmm, he's not going to care too much. He's a nice, beefy tank as Pomponius looks to join the party. A quick dash away from the charge fray out of Pucmm here. He's doing his best to dip, dodge, and weave. But the rest of the members of Risky Behavior can't do it as well either. They're chasing on through. The Ultimate Vortex going to catch onto Pomponius. A great grab from Pucmm will be interrupted by Wubbn quite nicely here, as now their tower might be forfeit here, as XenoTronics, the only man standing here, he's got the heals going, so Wubbn can rejoin the party soon.
No.
He may not be able to boulder on through. He's trying what he can with the full 5-man squad here. He's going to get bursted down, as Skeeledon will be taken down first. A great portal will lower Wubbn upward, and down and out he goes. FaymousHate trying to range as best he can. This could be huge though. Pucmm, the only man left standing. A triple for Pucmm. He's looking for the quad. He finds it. One more kill for the penta. His Pomponius so low. BootyCallJones joining the party. He should be able to give it to him. He wants to give it to him. Go for it. But no, he can't. He goes up in the air, and a huge turnaround from Pucmm will win the fight as BootyCallJones going to clean up. Burly Man going huge with a quadra for Pucmm.
He didn't want to give. He wanted to give him the penta
so
bad. But then, yeah, I could see the comms already. Puckm's just like, dude, just take it. I don't have any mana. Just take the kill. He's like, dude, get the penta, get the penta. No, just take the kill.
I mean, that's probably exactly how it went down, Shadow Boy. But, I mean, he tried, so you can't really fault BootyCallJones in that one. So, good guy, BootyCall. All in all, an incredible play out of the Burly Men right there. That fight looked like it was going to go so well for Risky Behavior after an incredible Cataclysm right into FaymousHate, hitting almost all 3 of his shots on the very key targets. They killed everybody off, but unfortunately Pucmm, he survived. He was dealing so much ticking damage as well. He doesn't have the Mystical Mail. He doesn't need it. He's hitting so hard in these fights. His Sickening Strikes are doing so much damage, and even then, you cannot afford to get caught just tossed around by his tail whip. All in all, incredible job from this Burly Men team comp, despite Risky Behavior putting on such a show in that fight.
You know, it's actually funny, though, that quadra kill is his only 4 kills. He's actually been an assist machine most of this game, and then all of a sudden, quadra kill. Alright, Sobek. I think that would be the first time I've ever seen a Sobek pentakill in my life, so that would have been amazing. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. What happened was a Gold Fury after a quadra kill, which is actually going to set Burly Men up with a 6.5k gold lead. I
mean, still, I think that's the first Sobek quadra kill I've actually seen playing Smite. Not a god you normally see rocking out a killing count of that magnitude. So, all in all, very nice pickup from them. Is also Gold Fury taken down. That's a nice chunk of gold going there. Going back to the graphs as well, we see a nice, healthy trend going the way of Burly. A huge chunk of XP coming out very recently now, and now it's about to get worse, it might seem, as Repap looking to join the party. Risky Behavior, they're going to be put to the screws all around the map here, as Burly Men constantly looking to turn up the pressure and turn up the heat all around the map.
Yeah, and they're really putting the pressure onto the soul lane right now, as that tower is on its last leg. But the rest of the members are in the middle lane trying to force the kill under tower, and they go deep for this one. The blink comes out, the dragon goes out too, but no kill going to be found. The first tier tower in the middle lane was taken down, however. Sobek in a bit of trouble here, and actually is going to be taken down with the last remaining tower shot. Darkest of Nights used to separate Risky Behavior from Burly Men, and this engage was successful, but they still lost a tower, so it's a little bit worth it.
A little bit worth it there, and at the end of the day, the gold lead isn't going to lie here, so at the same time, Risky Behavior do get a tiny trend back in their favor after that one, which is nice, but at the same time, they're still in risk of losing another tier 1 tower. They've lost so much map pressure that this could just turn even sourer, as now Burly Men need to look to actually secure some extra vision and choke out Risky Behavior.
Yeah, a more sour situation would be very detrimental to the guys in Risky Behavior. But they still seem to put a lot of attention over towards this middle lane. Kuang actually sitting pretty hefty, now has the Polynomicon, and of course is working into what I believe is going to be a Soul Reaver. As a Bookatoth would seem a little awkward on his person, but not necessarily out of place.
And not out of place. It would definitely be something that would fit in kind of nicely in his current build. So I do kind of want to see him pick this one up right about now. Either way, we're moving down here as the buffs are being secured. Risky Behavior, not exactly safe in their side of the jungle either. But they've got to start trying to find some way to claw back the safety. This is all going to come down to how this vision game plays out in the next few moments, I feel, as now mid-camp's being started up. At this point, it's becoming less and less of a major objective and more of just a nice little luxury side appetizer that you can pick up from time to time.
So Sobek looking for the pluck. Oh my goodness, Aphrodite almost ended up becoming a nice crocodile dinner, but they might... Are they bold enough?
I don't think so. I don't think this is a good idea here. They're gonna try to bait this one in, maybe, and I'm not sure if Risky Behavior wants to take it. They're standing around on a ward, so Risky Behavior knows what's happening this time around, but Blue Buff is respawning, so probably no Fire Giant, but since Risky Behavior didn't take the bait, they'll just take a few buffs around the map, secure the tier 1 tower already on the solo side, and now just look to try to put some pressure on the lane.
Yeah, and it shouldn't really result in too much of a tower dive. Just Geb plus Aphrodite equals a very bad time trying to do that, but Blinks come out, one for aggression, one for retreat, so Skeeledon not going to have that available for quite some time, and neither is Kuang. But the Eagles rally comes out and didn't really set up anything, as there wasn't really anyone to follow up on that. Sobek had to retreat from under towers. He was taking a bit too much damage, but he's going right back in, and there's a lot of bursts coming out. The weakening curse is popped. There's going to be the kill by Pomponius, and unfortunately Geb is going to be forced to retreat as well. Skeeledon really using that melee renewal proc to get his health back. BootyCallJones looking to come around the backside. Does not have ultimate available to him, so he's not going to be able to really get in there too heavily.
Risky flank, but he could go for his FaymousHate, actually going to clean out Lou right there. FaymousHate actually looking to put his name on the board. He wants to pick up a series of kills of his own right there, but will it be enough here as Junipera and Pucmm, actually Wubbn and Pucmm both flashing away. Junipera going to be food for FaymousHate right there. It's FaymousHate stepping up to the plate this time, 8-3-3, and he's been an impressive performance this entire game for Risky Behavior. No, they're not taking it. They're not taking it just
I was gonna say that's risky, even by most aggressive team standards. So you look at Repap and you look at the Kuang and you say, let's take Fire Giant with 3 people and
an Kuang.
Yeah, no, that's bold.
That's the kind of call I would make in a game. A really awful one.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you know, I'll keep that in mind.
More self-deprecating humor, but no, it is an awful idea.
I will keep that in mind next time you invite me to a casual game.
Thank you, Shadow Boy.
So Gold Fury is going to be warded by Sobek. They want to make sure that they maintain vision of both of these objectives before they try to make a next play. And despite having, you know, a really hyper carry style team composition, we haven't seen Burly Men really utilize it all that much on the side of Janus and Xbalanque. It's been all of a Kuang show, really.
I mean, the series of games so far from Burly Men have been the booty call, man. The booty call. Oh my god, Risky Behavior stole the gold fruit with a shockwave in conversation there. A 4-man cataclysm actually, as Wubbn just might have bought his team more than enough time here. He's gonna phone a Repap, but I think he's saying worth in comms right now, as long as his team gets away here, and Risky Behavior, they walk away with the Gold Fury right there.
I don't know if I'd say worth here. It makes a really easy tower dive with no gap. That's your shell, that's your healing, sort of, that's your CC, that's everything. So this might have been a completely disastrous call from Geb to try and get that Gold Fury and end up dying for it. And now it's just resulting in everybody getting dangerously low, if not dead. Aphrodite on her last limb, and meanwhile Najah able to find the revenge kill, but tier 2 tower is going to fall. Xbalanque is going to come in and start doing some work of his own, and Bellona actually does land the disarm, but not not really going to matter all that much. So all that remains is Najah, and she's going to have to back off. Phoenix could fall here if Xbalanque does enough damage. Geb comes in with the blink, shockwave, but again, just because of losing all of that CC, they lose the Phoenix. Losing Lou or not, that's still a huge win.
Yeah, that's still a huge trade there, but I'd say well played by Wubbn to actually take one of the branching balls off to the side to trade the Phoenix aggro back to Lou right there, and Wubbn, he got the steal there, but like you said, I guess it just didn't turn out to be worth it right there. Burly Men were able to barrel on through and just flex their muscles as they dove past towers, took a Phoenix, and only lost 2 in exchange for it.
Yeah, that's the thing, like, you know, a lot of people say, oh, I'm the support, and, you know, I stole the objective.
You need to be there for your team. You're the tank. You're the shield in Wubbn's case. Especially in this case where you've got a mid-tower incredibly low and none of the members of Burly Men end up falling. It might have been worth it in a spur-of-the-moment thing, but in the aftermath, it was completely not worth it at all.
Yeah, it just made it such an easy tower dive, but a couple of kills fell onto Janus, which is really important. Still not that many onto Xbalanque, surprisingly enough, as he does have the 3rd highest player damage in the game, right behind Sobek, and first place being Janus. So a lot of damage coming through this Janus, which is going to be a very important factor later on in the game. Still waiting to see Xbalanque hit his strides.
Still waiting on it to happen here. He's had a bit of a rough show so far. His FaymousHate has played absolutely lights out this game, shutting out the Junipera and Lou duo so far. But Junipera has been making plenty of good rotations to make up for it, sitting at 3, 3, and 15. Lou gonna start trying to turn up this late game damage, which has been the trend he's gone for these last few games, but it is a trend that could start to get exploited. The later and more games these teams will play against each other, so that should be one thing to look for. But this is an early episode of the Challengers here, as now they're looking for Pomponius here. They could find a great pick here, but the flank, the pincer might be coming through. However, Repap and BootyCall waiting around the corner. BootyCall has found Wubbn, a great freight train known as the through space and time. Gonna land on the FaymousHate. He's looking for BootyCall. Oh! He finds the last shot right there, and FaymousHate landing sniper shot after sniper shot as the fight continues around the speed bump. A great Eagles rally locking down the front line of Burly Men right here. RiskyBehavior getting risky here as they go for Lou, but the dive's a bit too deep. They all have to back off here, and a great knockup coming out of Junipera right there as Pucmm doing his best to release the damage all over the back lines, but Skeeledon running rampant through these fights right now. He has started to reach that point where Najah does get to be a pretty big carry. His sash game is on point today, not hitting the minions, as FaymousHate does secure a kill onto Pucmm right there. This is a good fire giant call right here, but Repap does have a shot at this one. They've got to play it very carefully on RiskyBehavior.
Yeah, I think that you have to give this one up to your RiskyBehavior. You are excited with the fact that you just got a good series of play and got a good team fight in your advantage, but you still have to consider 2 things. 1, your middle Phoenix is still gone, and 2, there's still enough damage on the side of RiskyBehavior to not only kill some of your teammates, but potentially steal the fire giant on top of killing some of your teammates. So be happy with this tower that you're about to receive and then move on from there. And I like the way that they are immediately retreating. They don't get too tunnel vision to the idea of, well, it's just Janus and Bacchus, we can take them. Well, that may be true, but you don't know necessarily any information about where this Kuang is, where Xbalanque is, where anybody is. So it's better to just go ahead, play it safe, take the tower, get out, bring the gold lead back up to a 4K differential in favor of Burly Men as opposed to the 6K that it was at, and the experience differential is now completely much better.
Yeah, much better right now as the Burly Men, they're starting to lose out a little bit in the RiskyBehavior, evening things out again. Could we see another comeback, Shadow Boy, as, well, we had a comeback last game. Will the trend continue here?
I think that there is potential for a comeback, but at the same time, the ceiling of damage that RiskyBehavior has in comparison to the characters are only so high, whereas I think that Burly Men just have it much better. I mean, Xbalanque just does much better at safe DPS from a distance, where Najah has to kind of hope to just do it all at once and then go from there. But they're going to start up this fire giant. There's no vision on it, actually, by the members of RiskyBehavior, so Geb is just going to try and go around the Sobek, who's warding off a lot of the guys from RiskyBehavior. He uses the catapult and finds nobody, and he's going to be taken out darn near instantly. In fact, he is going to survive just barely for now. Kuang able to find the ultimate, so he's going to be able to go up into the air, come back down onto somebody, maybe swing the flow of the fight. And he goes on to the Aphrodite, but that might be a little bit too bold as he quickly realizes that there's still a lot of damage there, and it looks like Pomponius wants to try and close that distance and this to get killed. But speed buff plus Kuang plus TPs is gonna, or not TPs, but blinks is gonna make it a difficult challenge to actually keep up with him.
It's a tough challenge to catch up to him there, but so far, Risky Behavior have been fighting these fights incredibly well. They've been diving into the back line, and unfortunately, Burly Men have just been leaving their backliners to die. Repap and Lou have both fallen in the end as well. They're trying to start a fight over here in the mid lane as well. Now it looks like Pucmm trying to have a repeat performance, but, well, it doesn't look like it's actually going to happen. He's getting zoned away by the sheer damage Famous and Aphrodite will coming out, as XenoTronics playing that heal bot role here, 3-3 and 7, doing a good job with his undying loves and just keeping his team in these fights. And unfortunately, the Burly Men, they've just been fighting these team fights so sloppily and just diving a bit too deep in them, I feel.
Repap picked up by Kuang actually instead of the mid laner. So instead of Janus having that one, they're just going to give that over to what they believe to be the best carry they have. And you can kind of see that damage being shown onto the Gold Fury, which originally was at like a 70%, and then after Kuang just immediately dropped down to about 20% in one kind of burst series. So he's really showing that damage potential. But speaking of Kuang, let's take a look at his build. It's not actually your typical auto attack speed Kuang. It's actually more of an AP focus.
He's a lot more mage focus here. He's got a tiny, well, not really any attack speed in his favor here. He's mostly just going for the AP, the shred. He also has a Polynomicon as his build right here, so really going to try to get a little bit of extra burst damage off here. I think he's trying to go more for that burst rather than just sustained ridiculous levels of Kuang DPS we would see, while still providing enough DPS here. As Repap, a little too frisky there, might get caught out, but a great pluck from Pucmm right there will buy his safety, actually. Pucmm now trying to get aggressive with lurking in the waters, might be overcommitting just a bit too much there, but he's got a way out, needs to ride something out, and he will just ride his own charge prey away. Portal, not mostly going to be ignored by himself right there, so he needs to step away from this one. But it looks like Burly Men have to back off almost entirely off of this fight.
Yeah, Burly Men's not feeling too comfortable or confident in the scenario, but at the same time, I think that because they're on their side of the map, they can get back into the fight quite easily. However, Risky Behavior could dive this tower. Well, could have dived the tower early on just to try and potentially get that tower no one was looking. But they're gonna go for it. One-man Cataclysm, and they've left their backline kind of to fend for themselves. As now Bacchus is able to get the rest of them off of the tier 2 tower. And Rama up in the air, who is he actually trying to hit? It looks like Janus, and Janus is actually going to set himself up to be killed off by Rama as he tried to avoid it with a lovely little cheeky portal. That didn't exactly work out too well, but job in the air, she's actually almost able to kill Kuang instantly, but not able to do so just yet. And so now the fight, because of it, is going to probably turn a little sour.
Yeah, it's only going to turn sour here as Lou actually finding the kills here with XenoTronics. His healing is so good right now. The reduction not really doing nearly enough. Is Pucmm going to be the next to fall? But they need to get BootyCall back in this one. Lou, unfortunately, not able to survive nearly long enough here as Junipera has to run away. But can they actually push in the tower? They've got a full wave of minions here, but BootyCallJones will be returning to this party soon enough. Junipera able to actually stick around and maybe push off this minion wave, so the tower should survive, but a close call fight for Burly Men actually going to work out in neither way for either team.
Yeah, this is one of those fight situations where all the carries just kind of died off or couldn't make it anymore in the fight, and then all that was left was either the people who could sustain a lot, the people with the highest mobility, or the people who were just straight up tanks. It was kind of a funny little situation.
And unfortunately, Lou hasn't been able to deliver the damage he needs to in this fight. It seems like a complete reversal of last game where it was FaymousHate who was having to struggle, but this time, FaymousHate has been on point. He's hit the arrows he needed to. He's been landing so much sustained damage in these fights. He's gotten ahead of Lou in damage quite handily too, and he's nearing that top damage on his team so far. All in all, I have to say that Risky Behavior, FaymousHate, stepping up to the plate, and definitely stepping up compared to last game, so I have to say good job to him.
Yeah, and that's really surprising considering Xbalanque does have at least 3 stacks, and he's nearing full build. The only thing he's missing now is a Deathbringer. So he's got all these things in his advantage, but yet he's still not finding necessarily the rest of the kills he needs to fill out his passive, or even to just win a team fight.
He's getting absolutely shredded out in most of these team fights they try to find. He gets dove from actually any of the frontliners. Pomponius doing a great job despite his scoreline of just getting into the back lines and locking everybody down. Same thing goes for the Geb as well. also Skeeledon. They both may not have the scorelines that show it, but they have been one of the key factors for absolutely just completely disrupting the back line of Burly Men. And if they can keep doing that, they've got a shot at actually winning these team fights here. But Repap, well, doing his best to just stay in the back lines of these fights and stay safe as Xeno takes a nice chunk of poke here. Dark Defense coming through. It looks like Burly Men want to find a fight. They get a nice cluster up around the rest of the team as Bruce Base in time will choke down XenoTronics, but he'll be healed up nice and fast here. Eagles rally, providing a nice steroid as they look for Junipera here, but he can't quite find his way into the backline. A huge 4-man cataclysm starts things up big here for RiskyBehavior. They look to turn it around, but now Skeeledon, the first to win a fight of this game. BootyCallJones going to fall here. And it looks like Burly Men need to make a full retreat now, as they've lost a major damage dealer, and RiskyBehavior have lost nothing. They've got the healing, and Pomponius, the only one sent back here, has got to play it so safe. As Skeeledon, getting chunked down by one unstable vortex, as their Repap finding so much damage in these fights here, but they may be able to press on anyways. As FaymousHate, he's here, and he's got more than the shreds of this tower. Everyone on Burly Men has to back off right now.
Oh, but there's the blink initiation from Geb. He wants to make a little bit more happen here, and unfortunately for him, the disengage is just a little bit too strong by a lot of the members on the side of Burly Men, who are about to have an Kuang respawn here in about 20 seconds. So they're waiting for him to get back, and then they're going to get right back into the action. One of the biggest disadvantages they have right now is that it doesn't seem like Xbalanque is really doing all that much in these team fights. So when the members of RiskyBehavior are looking to what they need to prioritize, they just need to prioritize the Kuang, and they can win the fight from there because Xbalanque is just not doing enough.
Yeah, they've locked out Lou enough to where he's just not doing enough damage. He cannot afford to walk up to this fight as RiskyBehavior gets the gold free. So as long as they lock out BootyCallJones, they've got it for sure. And now the Cataclysm coming through. Wubbn not really connecting onto enough targets here as Pomponius so low. He cannot effectively dive the backline like this, but Skeeledon sure can. Lou gonna get obliterated by FaymousHate and Skeeledon's combo right there. Now FaymousHate looking to carry on through with the damage. They're trapped in tight quarter as a stun about to come through from Bacchus, but not fully ticking. They're still looking for more of Skeeledon. He's got his skates on. He's going to skate out of dodge this time around. BootyCallJones, though, looking around from the corner. He'll blink in. Dragon toss up into the air goes Skeeledon, and down to the dragon's gullet he goes. That's a kill for Burly Men right there. A 1-for-1 trade right there, but the gold is now at a 2K differential. We're reaching the point where gold means nothing, where experience means nothing. Shadow Boy, we're getting into the 40-minute zone for these games, and I think it could go much longer as well.
Oh, well, it very well could go much longer, but you think that one of these teams is probably going to try and push for the win here soon. And I think Burly Men have the right idea. They take down the Tier 2 over in the right side of the map, and there's only one Tier 2 remaining on the entirety of the map for RiskyBehavior, so those are the kind of flow points that allow for more map control for Burly Men. But Bacchus jumping in over the wall into the blue buff camp, into the entirety of the enemy team. I have no idea what just happened there.
Junipera not making a good call right there, and this opens up so many possibilities for RiskyBehavior here. They could go for the Fire Giant, but that'd be risky since Burly Men still have 4 men pressing down them. They could try to bait out the fight and try to pull Burly Men into a bad situation here, which might be one of the better calls, or they could opt instead to look for a push, which instead looks like they're just going to kind of wander around and not really find too much of anything here, as they're wasting quite a bit of time as Junipera respawning soon enough. They still have to pay respect to that Pucmm potential grab here, as the rest of Burly Men backing off entirely here. RiskyBehavior, they do have a setup for this Fire Giant. It looks like Burly Men just calling their bluff here.
Yeah, Burly Men's just going to keep presence. They don't want to give up the Fire Giant. That's the worst case scenario, but at the same time, they need to get some kind of advantage on this objective, and it looks like they're just literally going to give it up due to everyone scattering after they thought, okay, well, there's no way RiskyBehavior is going to do it. But yeah, they did it. They did it, and now it's over and done with, and chances are, if this fight goes any worse than it already has, you're probably going to lose here.
Yeah, and it's looking pretty dire now for the Burly Men. Fire Giant secured for RiskyBehavior here. They're all standing as 5 here, and FaymousHate, he's going to just like rip through this tower right now. It's going to be such a risky moment for the Burly Men here, as they have to play this out absolutely perfectly, but RiskyBehavior, they're starting to make the comeback perfectly. They've got Fire Giant, they've got even gold. XP means nothing at this point, so they're all even on level 20s here. If they take this Tier 2 tower, the game is going to more or less be at that point where Risky Behavior can run off with it as everybody finally finishing off these last few luxury items on Risky Behavior. Same goes to the Burly Men. This is all going to be about who can outplay who outscaled who, and who has the skills to make it happen. Unfortunately, Lou has just not been delivering as Xbalanque this game to be too much of a factor here.
I think it's been coming down to comfortability picks with these 80 carries, because last game, when we saw the Cupid pick out of the opposing 80 carry, Mr. Lou, or excuse me, not Lou, but Mr. FaymousHate, Lou was able to just completely dominate the flow of the game. But now that Lou is on the Xbalanque pick, it's a bit of a different story. He's actually not able to get any kind of rhythm going.
They can't get any kind of rhythm going anymore. Unfortunately, it's now Burly Men. Oh, the tempo has swung so far against them. All towers are down on their side. Risky Behavior have one tower standing, but it is gold in the bank if Burly Men can find a quick fight here. But at that point, gold will mean nothing now, as realistically they finish off their last few items. Everybody has full luxury here. There's still just one tier left to complete on XenoTronics right now, but that Lotus Crown is going to be a massive swing. So many extra protections here for the person he targets with his heal, and I don't know if they'll actually push through and stop Risky Behavior on the side of Burly Men once he gets that Lotus Crown.
Probably not. I think that Lotus Crown is probably one of the better healing-based items that you can get on any healer, really, at all. You already got the Rod of Asclepius, now you're all of a sudden adding protections to anybody you're healing. That's pretty darn good, but
it's such a good luxury item that it almost could count as a major core item here, but it is something you'll always see towards the later end of these builds here, and yes, it is finished off now. It's going to be so hard for Burly Men to press through here. Between the Eagles Valley providing the protections for the team, and Bellona especially, and the Lotus Crown providing healing to a single target, that gets picked out by XenoTronics. Add into that an Undying Love and massive healing. You are going to be so hard pressed inside of Burly Men to find an actual chink in the armor that Risky Behavior has, as they've basically got full heavy armor right now and all the move speed to match it.
Yeah, Risky Behavior, again, just has such a heavy team comp that a lot of the members of Burly Men cannot get around it. That's why Kuang has just not had a good time getting to the back line and trying to bully out, say, Aphrodite or Xbalanque or Janus, for that matter. Janus, the one being, I think, is probably priority to the guys on Burly Men, but it's been a bit of a letdown in that regard. But now we're going to see the Phoenix Siege start up, where Eagles rally is used, Xbalanque taking quite a bit of damage. There's Darkest of Nights coming out. 3 space of time, we're going to land onto the Aphrodite, who just immediately is going to Undying Love. Cataclysm finds 3. Unfortunately, not going to have any solidifying results there. But Najah able to find a bit of damage. Still the fight continues though, as Bach is forced to jump away. Geb tries to go for the rollout to maybe set up some kind of kill potential, ends up just knocking Sobek into the enemy team, and he's able to get out. Geb initially thinking, alright, I'll tank it for you guys. They say, nah, we're going to the Gold Fury?
It's not really worth anything at this point to go for the Gold Fury. I mean, not even as a denial trick, so I don't really think they're going to go for it other than maybe just padding up the numbers. At this point, gold literally is nothing here, as there's only one item left to be tiered up, and that's Junipera, likely going for one of those last and final luxury items here. Same time, Aphrodite finished off everything. Same goes to the support of Wubbn right there. Everybody's full build. Everybody is ready to take this one to the end, and this is all going to be decided by one fight. And I have to say that Burly Men, they fought that fight as well as they could have right there. They all rotated out. The Phoenix stayed alive, and so did everybody on Burly Men here. This is going to come down to this next Fire Giant, I feel, just through and through.
Well, I mean, honestly, at the 45-minute marker, you're starting to talk about a team fight resulting in game, more so than just Fire Giant. I mean, one good deicide or quadra kill or...
Well, I mean, yeah, she's still only one out of Moy, but yeah, like you said, Shadowboy, I have to agree with you. Even if it doesn't get the Fire Giant, though, that Fire Giant will be such a huge stat swing that a team fight, like I said, yeah, it'll mean more than just a game, and even then, if they have just enough people alive, they can at least get a Fire Giant here, and Risky Behavior, they're going to take a huge risk here. They're going to go for it, but they've got the rotation power on the side of Burly Men. They're not going to do it fast enough, though. The trigger was not pulled, and Risky Behavior sneak away the Fire Giant. They need to make this fight count on the side of Burly Men if they want to win it, but the entirety of Risky Behavior already on the out, now looking for the re-engage here. Pomponius dealing so much damage, Pucmm taking incredibly low. Inside is lurking in the water. He's trying to slow them down, but he's only going to be the one to slow and fall in the end. He dashes away, but airborne goes the Hunter. He's looking for the snipes, but it's not nearly enough. Pucmm will get shocked with Eagles rally. He's surviving still somehow, but finally Pomponius will secure the kill on his counterpart as Skeeledon finishes off Xloux. A flank coming through from BootyCall. He's trying to take out Skeeledon, but the shield is good. Skeeledon gets the double right there. The surrender vote will kick off, and it looks like the comeback is real. Risky Behavior should be able to carry this game through as they're all standing 5 strong. They've all got the fire giant. Unless the miracle happens for Burly Men at the Titan, I don't think they can win this one. The Titan will fall under attack here. Wubbn incredibly low, and Repap looking to make the plays, but Skeeledon doing so much damage to him. I think there's no way for this one. The Order Titan will fall as Junipera will take down one final defiant kill. But Risky Behavior and an epic 46-minute comeback will take away the victory and take the series 2-1.
Yeah, it was GG from the point that they got the Fire Giant without any real contention at all. I mean, that was just such a bad result for the end game of that scenario. So 45 minutes into the game, you have to have vision on the Fire Giant because it's not going to take very long. It is not hard to imagine a world where Najat plus Rama equals a dead Fire Giant in literally like 7-8 seconds. So you need to know exactly where they are and how invested they are into the Fire Giant at all times. And because they didn't know, because they didn't have the ability to just stop them, it didn't result in any actual defense of the Fire Giant, and they got baited in at the wrong time when they should have been investing into trying to defend the Fire Giant earlier. And because the Fire Giant was just giving so much extra bonus on top of all their already heavy damage, it was impossible for anything to be done on the side of Burly Men. I mean, you look at Xbalanque, he only has 26,000 damage in a 45-minute game.
It was unfortunately just disappointing entirely. xLoux unfortunately didn't deliver. BootyCallJones did what he could, but as the game got later, there's just way too much CC, way too much explosive power inside of Risky Behavior. And all in all, FaymousHate played like straight up lights out this game, especially compared to the last one. Looking at his player damage, 43,000 player damage, the second most in the game compared to Repap, who set at about 47,000, but Repap was playing that burst mage role in that AoE. FaymousHate, a lot of the damage is between his single target and, of course, his arrows, so all in all, incredibly solid performance all around from Risky Behavior this game. They definitely earned that comeback victory for this Challengers Cup.
Well, that is going to be the end of our tournament today. A lot of exciting games. I think some highlight moments would definitely be a couple of the hyper carry comebacks that we saw, actually. One instance being from Burly Men themselves, as xLoux had a fantastic game last time around and actually ended up pulling away with a victory for his team, whereas Skeeledon, who had, of course, the wonderful Thor play, wasn't able to make it through. But I mean, that and many other games from this evening was just fantastic. Definitely worth watching again.
Definitely worth watching again, but I think it's time for us to close this one out. Shadowboy, any final things to say before we move on to close this game out, as this has been an interesting Challengers Cup, but it's run on for quite a while.
Oh yeah, definitely a long day. Some of you are probably getting ready to watch some of the other events that are going on in the esports community. I believe that North America is having a Hearthstone tournament to kind of decide who gets to go to BlizzCon right now, if I'm correct. And there's other things like that. Some of you might be wanting to watch VODs for other MOBAs, but... And the SPL, of course, is on, as always, so if you all want to go check that out, I highly do recommend it. But thank you all again for coming out and hanging out with me and Soza, as well as our lovely productionist, Mr. Lord WizKid, as we brought to you the NA Challenger Series. Of course, you can find me at Shadowboy Gaming on Twitter.com, and how about for you, as well as Mr. Lord WizKid?
They can send angry messages to me at Soza Smites on Twitter. Soza spelled with a 0 instead of an O. Meanwhile, you can find our production and one of the guys behind this Challenger Cup entirely at Lord WizKid on Twitter. He's a great caster, and you will find him announcing future events and information about the Challengers Cup and our possible future giveaways. So do make sure to check that one out. Once again, this has been Smite Games Challenger Cup, brought to you by Tier Monster in conjunction with hi-rez Studios. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys on Sunday for the EU Challengers Cup.